Dear friends, welcome to the next session for software engineering and designing concepts. So in today's session, we will be looking at UML diagrams. So let us get started. So UML diagrams can be represented using 5 different perspectives. One is the user's view, behavioral view, environmental view, implementation view, and structural view. So all of these views are represented using various diagrams which are stated here. So today we will begin with the user's view, which is the use case diagram. However, before we go deep into this UML diagrams, we have to identify if all the views are required for developing a typical system. The answer is no. We do not need to implement all the diagrams in order to represent a system. For example, for a simple system, we need to use only use case diagram, class diagram, or one of the interactions diagram. When this class state changes, we can make use of the state chart diagram, and when the states are only one or two, state chart model, it becomes trivial. So we do not need to implement state chart diagram in such a scenario. Then we have deployment diagram in case of large number of hardware components that are used to develop a system. So at one go, we do not have to implement all the diagrams. Now talking about use case model, basically it consists of a set of use cases and it becomes an important analysis and design artifact. We can also consider this use case model and define it as a central model because other models must conform to this model, and basically it is not only an object oriented model but also represents functional or a process model. It all because it is always a high level representation. So when we are talking about use case model, we have to understand that it is a diagram which represents different ways in which the system can be used by the users, and it corresponds to high level requirements. It also represents transactions between the user and the system and defines external behavior without revealing internal structure of the system. Some of the set of related scenarios are also tied together for solving a common goal using the use case model. So basically use case model, it represents the top level view of a system from the user's perspective. In order to represent use case, we have to first understand that a very important role is played by the actor, which basically uses the system. It can be defined, an actor can be defined as an object or set of objects external to the system which interacts with the system to get some meaningful work done. It can be either a human or device or some other systems. For example, for a person withdrawing money from the ATM, in this case the person is the user and basically it is a human actor. Now actor can be classified into primary actor and supporting actor, and the principal users of the system who fulfill their goal by availing some service from the system are known as primary actors. For example, when a person is withdrawing money from the ATM, that person is completely using the ATM for his own personal use, hence he is the primary actor. However, supporting actor is basically are those actors which render some service to the system. That means he directly does not use the system but definitely uses some functionality of the system. For example, a bank representative who refills the ATM after the cash gets exhausted there. So the person here who is refilling the ATM does not make use of the ATM directly but is extending some sort of service to that particular system. So these two categories of users are extremely important, and generally the primary actors are represented on the top left side of the diagram, and the supporting and the secondary actors can be represented on the right side or sometimes on the left side as well. So some of the sample use cases are represented here. For example, issue book for library automation system, issue book, query book, return book, create member, add book, etc. However, we have to understand that all of them are functionally independent of each other. However, there are some implicit dependency within the use cases of the library information system or library automation system. For example, if we consider reserve book, or let us consider issue book and query book. So both of them are two different use cases. However, issue book will be dependent upon the query book use case, because if the query book use case result is positive, that means the book is available, then only you can issue the book. So that is why, although these two use cases are independent of each other, however, they have implicit dependency upon each other. Now we have to understand the representation of the use cases, which means the notations. So basically a use case is represented using an ellipse. Then we have the system boundary, which hosts this use cases, and the users or the actors which we were talking about, they basically are represented using a stick man or a stick person icon. And the communication relationship between the use cases and the stick man or the user is basically given using a straight line. It does not have any arrow, and an external system is defined or described by a stereotype. So this is a sample use case diagram. Here, as you can see, the actor, which is the player, is represented using a stick person icon. We have a play move use case. Then the name of the use case model is a tic-tac-toe game. It is mentioned in that particular box or rectangle. However, we have to make sure that this name is either on the top left or top right corner of the system boundary, and the communication is represented using a straight line. Now coming to the next important point is naming the use cases. The names of the use cases should be strictly in a verb noun combination. For example, here play is a verb, move is a noun. Similarly, add book, add is a verb, book is a noun. So we have to make sure that we understand what is the use case all about from the very naming convention itself, and those naming conventions should strictly follow a verb noun combination. Next important parameter is factoring a use case or factoring use cases. Generally, we factor use cases so that we reduce its complexity and we can define the system in a more detailed manner. So there are three different ways of factoring. One is generalization, includes and extends relationship. Generalization is basically combining various use cases to a generic functionality defining use case. Includes is basically a mandatory functionality or mandatory use case, and extends is basically an optional use case. So let us look at how these look like. So basically, when we are factoring using generalization, if we look at pay membership fee, so this is basically a use case, and it can be done by multiple ways, like paying through credit card, paying through library pay card. So these are basically specialized version of this generalized use case. So we can represent them through this way, where we are using an arrow which is pointing from the specialized use case to the generalized use case. Similarly, moving ahead, when we are talking about includes relationship or includes factoring, it means a mandatory use case or mandatory functionality that the user is capable of doing, where an arrow, a dotted arrow is drawn from the base use case to the common use case. It can have a multiple representation or a single representation as shown in both this scenario. However, for example, includes might be like in order to purchase or in order to deliver a particular product, you need to have the address. So without the address, you will not be able to deliver the product. So the base use case in this case can be the deliver product use case, and the common use case can be assigning the address. So assigning address is one of the essential use case which is required in order to make the base use case successful. Now similarly, when we are talking about optional, we can use extends relationship, and extends also in a similar way, but we have to mention the keyword as extends here. Extends here, and in our previous slide we have to include the include keyword within angular brackets in order to represent that it is a extends or include relationship. And one more important factor for this extends is this representation is slightly faulty, so the arrow from the common use case would be towards the base use case and not here. So this is basically the representation of a extends or an optional use case. So can we think of any example related to this? For example, pay fee. Pay fee. So this is a base use case, and paying fees will, if we pay it within a particular time frame, we do not have to pay the fine, but if the time frame exceeds, we have to pay the fine. So under that scenario, we have to include an optional scenario which is pay fine. So this we can or cannot make use of depending upon the base use case. So we have to identify this, and we have to keep this as an optional parameter associated or optional use case associated with the base use case, and we will simply add the extend keyword here in order to represent that this is an optional case. So this is all about factoring. Next we will just look at the sample use case diagram. So when we look at this diagram, this is basically a food order ordering system, and where there are four different use cases: the waiter, client, cashier and chef. So these actors or users are making use of different types of activities that the system is going to offer. So waiter basically is capable of ordering the food, and the client can place the order of the food, and the waiter can serve the food as well as also facilitate the payment for the food. So all these things the waiter can do. Ordering the food, that means he receives the order of the food. He cannot order the food, however he can receive the order of the food, then he can serve the food, he can eat the food, he can pay for the food, and the client also can order the food, eat the food and pay for the food. Cashier however can accept payment for the food, and the chef can cook the food. However, cooking is not included in that particular system because we are simply creating a design of the software product, not the actual implementation. However, cooking food includes that is confirming the order and also representing whether the food is already cooked or not. So all these use cases basically will be representing the different types of functionality that the users will be able to do within this food ordering system. Or let us say that the restaurant, in a restaurant, how can the different users work in collaboration with each other along with the various use cases. So this is very, very important representation. However, for softwares, we have to understand that we cannot make use of real-time use cases like cooking of food, drinking of wine. So all those things we do not do using a software, right? So for a software, the representation will be slightly different, where we have to make use of only the use cases which will be represented, or use cases which will be responsible for displaying the various functionalities that can be solved using a software. For example, if this same thing should be represented using a or represented in a software design or a software product design, then we have to exclude this particular use case: serving of wine, serving of food, drinking of wine, or eating of food, or yes, eating of food, etc. So we cannot use this use cases. However, we can still make use of order food, order wine, pay for food, pay for wine. So all these things can be done using the software. So we can make use of these use cases. Similarly, we can think of some other use cases like searching for menus, search for food or search for menus. And we can also make use of different other parameters like payment or pay tips. So tips can be done online or tips can be paid online. Then give feedback. So all this can be done using the software. So this is for the entire system, and you can include this use cases for your software edition, right? So guidelines for drawing use case diagrams: basically, first we have to determine the system boundary and ensure that the individual actors have well defined purpose, and the use cases identified should let some meaningful work done by the actors and associate the actors and the use cases. So this is very, very important. And there should not be any actor or use case floating without any connection. Simply an actor cannot be placed there if there is no connection between any of the use case. And if you include relationship is used, we have to encapsulate common behavior among the use cases if there exists. So includes and extends, as you can see in the previous diagram also. Ordering food has an optional use case, which is ordering wine. So a person who is ordering the food need not have wine together, so it is just an optional case. So this is very important from the perspective of drawing the use case diagram, and the notations are also very, very important. So this is all for use case diagram. Thank you.